I'm in Shenandoah National Park at the South River Overlook, and I'm doing this beginning video clip inside my car because there's extremely high winds here today, and it's cold with high winds, so I didn't think you'd be able to even hear me. Once I get into the woods, maybe the noise level will go down a little bit. But anyway, here's the overlook. That's looking to the east. This is mile marker 62. That's looking to the north. I'm going to head up that way a couple hundred yards and turn left and go into the woods and follow one of the old fire roads down a ways until I get to a certain jumping off point, and then I'm going to bushwhack down the side of the mountain a ways, looking for an abandoned road and maybe even the site of the Dean Mountain School. It's not there anymore, but it was up here before the park was formed. So it's going to be another bushwhack hike. The elevation here is 2950. Okay, well, here's the old road. There's my car down there. So it's not very far at all. Come up here and take a left and head on down the west side of the mountain along this road. Half mile into my hike, I'm down to 2816, and that rock there, I have my trekking poles laying against it. That was, in one of the books, that was mentioned as being a landmark to look for. So I am going to head down this way into the woods and see if, down to where the old school supposedly was, and see if there's anything down there. Six-tenths of a mile into my hike. I'm down to 2760, and I've hiked to the point, to the coordinates where the old school was supposed to be. Now, one thing I noticed, the road is up that way. Now, looking over here, there's a lot of trees, but it's fairly cleared out. But now look over here at all that undergrowth right there. So I'm guessing that that's where it was. I don't see any remnants of it though. So anyway, I'm going to either go back up to the road or possibly bushwhack this way to my next waypoint, looking for a trace of an old road that came up here. .7 miles into my hike. I'm down to 2740, and I'm standing in the general area where this old road is supposed to be, and look what I found. I found there's a piece of steel rebar, and it's painted orange and white. It's got a plastic cap on top of it. Looks like it's right in the middle of the road. So I think I'm going to start, and it's going down this way. Down that way I see a white pipe. So I think this thing should sweep around and head in that general direction to the right. So I'm going to follow this ditch here a little ways and see where I end up. Can't get so lost, right? Okay, well, I think I found the trace of the old road. That's where I came from. And I'm heading down this way about another 2/10 of a mile until hopefully I get to my next waypoint. Okay, well, here's the main part of the old road. It's a big old ditch now. Here's the way I came from, and assuming it stays like this, I guess I'm going to try and follow this down to the park boundary. .1 miles into my hike, I'm down to 2620. That's where I came from. Still following the road. Now starting here, there's looks like it flattens out quite a bit and it gets pretty hard to tell exactly where the road is. So I've got my fourth and final waypoint. I programmed that into my GPS. I'm going to go down here and look around for the road. If I don't find it, I'm just going to hike on a compass bearing for a while. And maybe I'll make it down to the park boundary. Let's see what happens. .5 miles into my hike, I'm down to 2,560 feet, and I'm within about 100 feet of where the USGS map said the boundary was. And here's a metal post in the ground with old rusty barbed wire on it. It comes down to the road. It looks, if it went across the road, it's been torn down, but the barbed wire comes up here, maybe you can see it there, and it heads on up that way. And actually, if you look up there, that looks kind of cleared out actually, so I think this is going to be my turnaround point, but first I'm going to walk up there to that top of that rise and see if I can see anything. Yeah, here's the park boundary. And down there where that big tree is where the barbed wire is. So looking up through here, this is the edge of the park right here. 2.2 miles into my hike, I'm up to 2790. I'm back up on the main fire road. I'm gonna head that way back up to my car. But when you come down through here, now that I've hiked it back up, I can see right here where this dead tree is. There's a little bit of a bend in the road here, and right here where this dead tree is, if you look off just to the left down that way, maybe you can see the trace of the old road coming up this way. It goes down that way a ways, and then it makes a right-hand bend and heads on off for a couple miles in that direction. Wind. I'm almost back to my car now. There's where I came from. And I just wanted to point out, that's the west side of the mountain. That road comes across here and goes down that way, down the east side of the mountain. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Elkton East 1997. I also used as a historical reference this much older map, which is called Elkton 1937. And I'll just point out, this one is a different scale. This is 62,500, and the newer map is 24,000. So this map has a lot more detail on it. The interesting thing about the old map is it shows, this is dated 1937, keeping in mind that the park was created in 1935. Now on this map, it shows the location of the Dean Mountain School right there. And up here, this red is Skyline Drive. And this was a road that went down the west side of the mountain like this, and then it also crossed over and went down the east side of the mountain like this. Now, and this map is where I got the approximate location of where the Dean Mountain School used to be. It's not there anymore. When they created the park, a lot of these structures were taken down because they're not needed anymore, and they don't want people to get hurt climbing around in them. So referring to the new map, this is Skyline Drive, and I parked right here at the South River Overlook, which is right there. And this road right here is equivalent to the road I showed you on the older map, like this. Okay, so I parked here, walked north just a short distance, and then went into the woods here on this fire road. Came down to here, and in one of the books I read, they talked about a large boulder being a jumping off point to go down here where the school used to be. Now you'll notice on this map the school's not even shown. They took it off the map, but I got the coordinates off the older map, and this is the equivalent spot on on this map. So I bushwhacked down the side of the mountain to here and looked around, and in the pictures I show where I think it was. It's an area that has, this area down here is just trees with not much undergrowth, but right here where the school used to be, you'll see that there's a lot of undergrowth that sprang up. From there, I basically bushwhacked my way on a compass heading over to here, and at which point I picked up the trace of the old road and then followed the old road down the side of the mountain to here. And right here, this red line is the park boundary. So right here I noticed some old barbed wire fencing. And I hiked up the hill to this high point here. I was hoping I could look down here and see this pond, but I wasn't able to see it. There's too many trees in the way. This area right here has got a barbed wire fence. Now, I don't know whether the landowner on this side put it up or whether the Park Service did. Oh, the other thing is the trees, there are a couple of park boundary, metal park boundary signs that I finally did see coming up this hill here, and also some red blazing. So then I turned around. Now on the way back, I came up to here, and I decided to instead of going back the same exact way, I kind of came up like this, actually. Just bushwhacking my way up. Back up to the road and then back to my car. So that was the purpose of this hike. It was really windy, so some of my commentary might be drowned out by wind noise. But I was looking for this location of this old school, and also this old road that I hiked on. It doesn't even have a name these days, but I'm going to call it the Cedar Falls Trail, which is the Cedar Falls Trail, which is abandoned road. It was short, but these bushwhack hikes are fairly short. The thing that makes them difficult is, you know, trying to push your way through the undergrowth and stuff. Now, this area did not have a whole lot of thorny, prickly bushes and stuff, so it wasn't quite as painful as some of the other hikes I've taken recently. So this one ended up being 2.8 miles and an ascent of 613 feet. And that was the hike for today.